time, Kevin.
Sitting
Sit
right in front of the camera.
That was you, I forgot.
Yeah, I texted you. I was like,
Oh, that was
He's
so
like,
funny.
sit away from
How
the
are
camera.
you?
Nobody can hear me.
Good to see you.
Nobody
Long time
can.
no see. So wait, we gotta be right.
How you doing? I can't complain. Yeah, everybody's good. Knock on wood, we've avoided getting sick.
Nice to have you seen.
Apparently, everything we're all right now.
I got a friend of mine who's got a PhD in nursing. She's got a lot of practical experience. I don't know where.
I'm interested, but I haven't got it. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I go with it. Would be no. Figure that out.
She might not be one, but
Yeah, it might be something more than you I think it knows everything. I mean, eventually.
So we go play.
This council meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting is December 19, 2022. Was included in the list of meetings published in the Courier News and Star Ledger. A notice of this meeting was also placed on the bulletin board at Borough Hall. A copy of this notice is available to the public, and a copy of the statement shall be included in the minutes of this meeting. Mayor Dennis Sullivan.
Here.
Council members: Granville Brady.
Here.
Tom Mitchell.
Here.
Gina Stravic.
Here.
Roger Vroom.
Here.
Fred Weed.
Here.
And Randy Pitts is excused this evening.
All right, please stand and join me in the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have minutes from December 5. I'll take a motion. So moved. Second.
Council members: Granville Brady.
Yes.
Tom Mitchell.
Abstain.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes. All right, we have departmental reports from St. Hubert's and the Somerville Board of Health. We have a single discussion item tonight, and we have Natalie Finera and Michael Kerwin from the DSA to give us an update on the 2023 budget.
Great.
What?
That's a PowerPoint. That's going to be on the screen. I don't miss that. Steve, you taking that? Go.
Yeah.
Personal belongings.
Great.
How are you?
Okay.
I always look at the strategy of anticipation.
Isn't it wonderful? I build up, we build. All right, so, got some of you back here. All right, so here we are, closing out another year. This year brought with it innovation, increased foot traffic and sales to our businesses and events, notice and recognition on a regional and statewide scale. And we've begun to move from a place of planning, which characterized much of our time outside of reckoning with COVID, to execution. One would say it's been a successful year, but the gears never stop turning. And here we find ourselves fashioning plans for 2023. We know that as our district grows and changes, as we accommodate more people living in and visiting our district, we need to stay flexible in order to adapt to the demands of being a premier district. We also need to try and have the foresight to predict what changes might be on the horizon for the district, the region, and the state. One of the things that's been headlining the news media is rhetoric about the state of our economy and whether we're headed towards a recession. So with that in mind, I'm happy to report that in 2023, we're projecting to operate with the highest income in the history of our organization. But part and parcel with economic projections is fear that largest business centers and districts are losing their viability. The good news for communities like ours is that future success hinges on the idea of social capital. So as mentioned in a recent article on Business Insider, the latest revitalization of cities is going to hinge on that social value. Remote work has isolated people, and central social districts can be the new lure for cities. Restaurants, coffee shops, and co-working spaces are becoming just as important as industry hubs for a city's economy. The urbanist Richard Florida argued in an article for Bloomberg in August that for cities to survive post-pandemic, they need to transform into places for robust social connectivity. So it's this idea of social connectivity that drives this year's budget, which I'm excited to present here. So let's start out by talking about some opportunities that we've identified for 2023. So we see an opportunity to implement a new business model in order to increase organizational capacity. Part of this new model involves adding 2 new staff members in 2023. We have the opportunity to facilitate and strengthen community partnerships, diversify revenue streams for the organization. So in addition to sponsorships, fund development, and other things, we're hoping to partner with the borough to help us diversify our revenue stream by helping us identify storage space and garage space, and potentially help us add security to the district by helping us with the security camera program for Main Street. We look forward to following up with you in the new year to formalize our request for support. We also look forward to creating a connected ecosystem through our Streetscape Capital Plan to support the downtown Somerville experience. This is also an opportunity for more proactive and strategic visioning. We also just want to take a moment to thank those council members who came out to our Streetscape open house. We collected some incredible data, and we're very excited to move into the next phase of our capital plan project, which is going to create and enhance a new exciting experience for downtown Somerville. We also see the opportunity to position our organization to qualify for additional grant funding with shovel-ready projects that are outlined in documents like the capital plan and our public art plan, which we adopted last year. We are going to increase social capital through connectivity, public art, and event strategy. And finally, we're going to utilize research and strategic planning to position ourselves to be recession-proof. So now let's jump into the numbers. So our total budget for 2023 is just under $1 million. It's $971,000. And this is comprised of approximately $766,000 of special improvement district assessment revenue, about $40,000 in projected sponsorships, $75,000 in grant funding, and $20,000 in fund development. We also have a carryover from unfinished projects, our operating account approximately $50,000, and our trust account approximately $20,000. So that brings our total budget to $971,000. So on the screen we have the breakdown that's represented in the pie chart. We have about 4% of our budget going to debt service, about 43% of the budget going into infrastructure, 12% dedicated to events, 5% to marketing and communication, 6% to economic vitality, 21% of the budget into management, and finally about 7% going into office support.
If anybody has any questions, just feel free to.
Jump on in.
So a question now,
Yes.
Fund development, you said $120,000 was your goal?
So as far as fund development, we're looking at $20,000, and that's just ticket sales and revenue that's generated from merchandise sales, ticket sales for events, and things of that nature.
So that's labeled as fund development,
Yes.
not donations?
Correct.
Yeah, but we should point out, we had a historic accomplishment this year with getting a grant from the county,
We did.
which to my mind, I don't think has ever happened before. Why don't you say a little?
Yeah, so in part and parcel with adopting our public art plan, we proposed a public art project for the courthouse lawn that was meant to drive tourism and economic vitality in the downtown district. We made the proposal to the county. We asked for about $129,000, which we received in the form of ARP funds. So we were excited to be in receipt of those funds and to be working with an artist collective out of Brooklyn, New York, to bring a very vibrant, colorful sculpture project to the courthouse lawn that's scheduled for installation later in December.
And then second question, what is your total percent of the expense budget in salaries?
So the management portion of our budget is about 21%. And that's not just salaries, and we'll get into that breakdown as we move into the slides. All right. So first and foremost, we're jumping into debt service, and this is an area that has recently changed. We usually allocated about $85,000, and this was for various improvements to parking lots that were made over the years. In 2022, we paid off some of this debt and also in working with the borough, we managed to eliminate the payments for Lot 1A, or as it's known now, Lot 8. So I need to give a thank you to the Borough Council for understanding our plight with Lot 8 and helping us to eliminate that portion of our debt service. So the line item that will stay in the budget is $40,000, which was paid to the state directly. This was a 10-year loan. We paid off 4 years of that loan, so we are projected to have another 6 years of this $40,000 line item to the state of New Jersey. Next, we have our infrastructure section, and this is the first kind of major item that we have in the budget. This contains things like our treescape program, which replaces dying trees in the district, helps to fix the sidewalks that have been uprooted by some of the tree roots in the district, our sidewalk maintenance, our seasonal planter beds, flags, general cleaning and services. In line with our growth, I think we need to acknowledge that Somerville has inherited a few unique challenges over the past few years, including an increase to our transient and unhoused population, additional loitering, and a host of issues that can potentially disrupt our outdoor dining and downtown Somerville experience. We want to take a moment to also thank the mayor and council for assisting in this area with the addition of our community police officers in the district, who were extremely helpful during the spring and summer seasons.
That's for the record, that's been huge. And I think without the presence of those community officers, I think we had some much more serious issues. They've been great.
Yes. So we'll also be working with our contractors, commercial district services, to prepare the district for the 2023 season to ensure that we're fully staffed, to ensure that our district remains clean and safe. So obviously, this infrastructure piece is important because it's not just about beautification, right? It's about safety, it's about ADA compliance, it's about functionality, and walkability, right? Which is what people love about downtown Somerville. All right, our next category is events and event advertising. So decades of economic evolution are leading us to realize that experiences that are personal and memorable can help us acquire and retain customers, as well as recruit and retain top talent, and in our arena, top quality retail and dining experiences. This year, we set a record number of patrons at our curated events like Girls' Night Out, the Spooktacular, and the Holiday Jubilee. Thank you to everybody who came out to welcome Santa with us on the stage on December 2nd. This year, we want to place extra focus on those high-yield events, right? So those are the events that we know bring a lot of people to downtown Somerville. We want to take a look at those events and invest in making them bigger, better, and safer as we navigate the popularity of the district.
And I think we need to take a moment just to look at that lineup. Those events are world class, in my opinion. At least the best in New Jersey. I don't know any other downtown that has that lineup. It's fantastic when you think about it. So, it's cool going back to the tour of Somerville, but the whole lineup that we developed.
So the most important part of increasing foot traffic downtown really comes from spreading the word about downtown Somerville and the unique one-of-a-kind experience you can have here. More importantly, the type of communication that's most valuable to us is this grassroots word-of-mouth communication. So this year we're going to focus on those areas that we know are going to yield us a greater return on investment and generate those authentic connections, in turn driving people downtown. So part of creating those connections involves investing in mediums that we know are trending, right? So with the viral interest in Instagram and Facebook Reels and the phenomenon that is TikTok, we plan to increase our investment in video production this year. One of the things that we really had a lot of success with last year was our billboard program. We currently have a great billboard on Route 287, and we strategically use the billboard on Route 28 by the Patriot Stadium to capture hyper-local traffic. We want to continue to utilize those tools in 2023 and also allocate more funding for targeted digital advertising. Finally, we're looking forward to debuting our new and improved Downtown Somerville website, which will launch in the first quarter of 2023. Next, we have economic vitality, and economic vitality works with the existing economic base to facilitate and promote collaboration, advocacy, and assistance. So this is where we carve out budgets for things like outreach, data collection, grant programs, contesting, and direct business support. So next we talk about management because, well, this place doesn't run itself. This is the area where you'll notice general staff requirements like salaries, professional insurances, health insurance, 401k. So these numbers pretty much don't change much from year to year, but they do include adding 2 additional staff members this year, which would be a marketing coordinator and an events coordinator to help us increase, right, the organizational output. So first we have management, then we have our office support. And this includes things like our office rent, our dues and subscriptions, our accounting fees, our office supplies, professional development, and our garage rentals for storage. I want to point out that we don't have any expenses in terms of office phones, cell phone reimbursements, internet, office furniture, because that all comes with our subscription at Office Evolution, which is across the street from the post office. They give us an excellent executive-sized conference room and a small conference room, and kind of give us all of the comforts that we need to run the operation while not paying astronomical fees for an office space. All right, so that brings us to the end of our budget breakdown. Before I open up to any additional questions, I want to say how incredibly proud I am of this budget and our ability to plan strategically in how we use these dollars. Our foresight has allowed us to build resiliency and be flexible to endure unexpected circumstances like the COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Ida. So in the end, not only have we continued to thrive, but we've also set the example for what district management looks like when you combine adequate funding, innovation, and experienced leadership. So,
A question about the garage rental.
Sure.
Where is the garage?
so we actually rent 3 garages behind Alfonso's. So we have the 2 garages that are immediately behind Alfonso's on Union Street. And then if you come around the bend, immediately behind the Hungry Hound, there's a 3rd garage that we rent as well. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The idea, one of the ideas of the DSA as it evolved from the old DMC was to increase visitation and therefore hopefully have inherent benefit to our merchants. Do you have access to, or does the borough have access to sales tax receipts so that we can see how the merchants are benefiting?
So we collect that data directly from the merchants, and there has generally been an increase in sales in the district, but I can look into collecting those sales tax receipts as well.
It's just a concrete way to say, okay, we spent $1 million to market the downtown.
Sure.
In 2010, gross sales on Main Street, not to pry into people's individual businesses, but if we see that the downtown was generating, let's say, $10 million in revenue,
Mm-hmm.
because I think the general public still doesn't realize that commercial property is not assessed on the physical value of the property as a home is.
Right.
You know, my assessment hasn't changed since the last assessment.
Mm-hmm.
It will change if and when we do a property assessment in the future.
Sure.
But commercial property doesn't function that way.
Right.
Commercial property functions on the income it produces. I think it would be important for myself, and I'm sure the board, and I think the general public, to just get a snapshot of, you know, where the revenue, you know, downtown has been.
Sure.
It's probably dipped in the last 2 or 3 years, but hopefully it's going to rebound. And I think it'll be a good justification for why, especially for the merchants that are, property owners that are paying into this fund, because just as a reminder, this is not homeowner tax revenue
Right.
funding this budget. This is funded by the 8% surcharge that the property owners pay directly to the DSA. And I think it would be important for the public to see, you know, what are the property owners getting for their $1 million investment.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I just have to quickly comment on 2 things.
Sure.
So one, I hear, every once in a while I hear someone complain, oh, this isn't the same downtown I grew up in. Well, my simple response to that is good. The downtown I grew up in had empty storefronts and the Branchburg kids called us Somerville. I don't want to go back to that, you know. So thank you to the DSA for doing that. And to go a little further back in time, my mom said, yeah, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of homeless living in sort of like a secluded area on the western side of town where the McDonald's used to be, a lot of broken glass bottles. So, you know, it is an evolution, but, you know, it's, again, the mayor made a great comment that this special improvement district is not paid into by the taxpayer. It's paid into by certain business owners there. Now, having said that, it is important to remember that, you know, what a good, solid downtown does for the community as a whole. Can you just highlight what it does for Somerville as a whole?
Sure. So first and foremost, the special improvement designation is so important to developing downtowns, right? I think that, you know, we look at other neighboring towns who don't have, who don't have the funding, right, to get their districts, to get their districts off the ground, right? And so because we have a solid stream of revenue, we can continue to provide direct support to businesses, and because of our nonprofit designation, right, we can think outside of the box and the types of programs that we execute in the district. Now, what it does for the community, I think this is a really great question, and it's not asked as frequently as I think it should be. So I think that when we get what we've seen over the past 15 years is the culmination of many things. The culmination of solid leadership, the culmination of solid investment. I think that, coming from other towns and working with other towns, there's not many towns that got the balance right in the downtown district of development, right? And I'm looking at you, Colin Driver. So I think that, the beauty of having mixed use development in your downtown district is that it puts feet on the street, right? It creates a community within a community that supports the local economy. And when you have an attractive and walkable downtown, you get people who want to live here, right? And when people want to live here and people shop here and invest money in our downtown, right, that directly relates to our property values, right? And that does something for the property values in Somerville. It makes Somerville more attractive, right? And so those increased property values, right, really help us as a community. And so I think that's the direct impact that we see to the community. Not only that, but the events that we create, right, the things that we do downtown create a sense of community that brings the community together. So when I started here, the common comment from a lot of the business owners was, hey, we see a lot of people coming in from out of town, but we really don't see a lot of the residents who live here, right, taking advantage of the things that are going on in the district. And I'm really happy to say that our free community events, right, have brought out record numbers of residents. Our Spooktacular had thousands of people, right? Our Holiday Jubilee this year, it was standing room only on Division Street all the way back to our Holiday Arch, right? And so that brings together a sense of community, togetherness, right, that I think is really unmatched in the places that I've been.
And I think that's it.
Now you bring up walkable communities, and I don't want to use as a form of complaint, but I saw in your budget that you're dedicating money again to the streetscape, and I just want to stress how important that is. There are areas that it is not walkable for multiple reasons.
Yep.
Encroachment on the sidewalk by restaurants, poor maintenance of the sidewalk. Some unrelated to trees. Having served on the environmental commission for many years and now the liaison, we fought to keep the trees, and yes, I know you suspended the program during COVID, and glad to see you're bringing it back, but it does mean maintenance, ongoing maintenance, and I don't see that happening. And also the restaurant doors, the storekeeper doors need to be open and accessible for emergencies, because the rescue squad cannot get in the way the doors are blocked by the furniture and it's just not furniture, it's all kinds of stuff that the merchants put outside. So I think that really needs some attention in the coming year.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, Councilwoman. I think that one of the things that we're excited to is bring back the treescape program, because we do recognize that some of those trees are in dire need and some of those sidewalks are in dire need of repair. We want to be conservative as we approach that project, because we know that with the streetscape capital plan, the plan is to affect change throughout the entire district, right? So while the streetscape plan is happening simultaneous with the treescape program, I'm sure that there will be some improvement there, and we plan on doing at least 2 trees every year until we get to execute the streetscape capital plan, which will then, kind of work on improving everything, in 3 different phases. As far as the sidewalk cafes and the furniture, we are aware of that being an issue and causing some ADA issues on the sidewalk. Kevin and I were discussing that last season, and it's going to involve kind of a large-scale project to get all of our restaurants to recertify all of their sidewalk cafes. So we're looking forward to doing that this coming spring so that we can make sure everybody is registered with the borough, everybody has their size requirements, and then the borough can do a better job with us of enforcing those requirements. Because realistically, when you look at what happened over COVID is, the governor said, let's do outdoor dining, right? Let's help everybody with outdoor dining. Let's relax the regulations with outdoor dining. And so to help our businesses, we did that, right? And so now we're having, we're seeing the effects of that and trying to have to reel that all in.
And Madeline,
So, yes.
I think in going along with what Gina said, one of the biggest impediments we have on the sidewalk are those horrible wrought iron fences that take up most of the sidewalk.
Yes.
Now, I understand where the merchants are coming from, but they also have that impediment of those horrible wrought iron rails around the trees. My suggestion and my hope is that you'll start to mitigate this by getting rid of them.
Yes.
And I understand it's hard to dig them up, but they've been there forever. A lot of them are broken up and what have you.
Yeah.
If you were to get rid of those, especially in front of some of the restaurants, I think it would afford you a little more access.
Absolutely, and I think so as part of the treescape program, every time we replace a tree or fix a sidewalk, we make sure that we remove that tree grate. That's not something that goes back in. So
We
as
have something in the budget this year, right?
yes, we have budgeted to do at least 2 trees in the district. So what we can do is working with the list that the Environmental Commission provided to us of the trees that are in the need of most repair, we can prioritize trees that are in front of restaurants so that we can create some more walking access. Yes, Mayor?
This is my annual question, vacancy rate,
Yes.
and how many of the vacant stores have leases that are just gonna be coming online pending the renovation?
So I believe that our current vacancy rate is about 20%. Out of those, I believe we have 2 that still have yet to come online, and a lot of those are part of developments, right? So we have the vacancies that are on West Main Street to the left of Mannion's that are part of the JSM development. So those, while we don't have leases going into them, we know that they will be redeveloped, which will be an incentive to get them filled. In the central portion of our district, we have very minimal vacancies. In the east end of our district, I've learned of 1 new vacancy, which is going to be Aruzavai, which is the Indian restaurant next to Kima. So they're not fully moved out yet. They don't have anybody going into the space yet. And then on the far east end of our district, we do have about 4 other vacancies that need to be filled. So we are, operating at about 20% right now, which compared to other districts is relatively low.
Any more questions from council?
Yes.
Does that only apply to like Main Street,
So
or does that apply to private property?
no, that's just Main Street. That's just the commercial district.
Okay, but I just have a question because I had a tree in my backyard that was dead. And somebody from the zoning came in my yard to look at this tree and told me the tree hadn't been cut down. They came in my yard.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
Let's,
handle that.
could you hold that question, we'll hear it during the regular session. This is devoted just to the downtown right now, but I do wanna hear the scenario because we'll be able to direct you, but we'll take that in the public session. All right, any questions on BSA? If not, again, thank you for every event.
Yeah, we
There's
appreciate
nothing
it.
like the sound of kids having fun, and they had fun this year, I must say.
Thank you.
So we look forward to next year.
I want to thank Kevin Suka for serving on the board with me and Councilman Pierce. I know he's not here tonight, but he's also a very active board member. Appreciate the partnership with the mayor and council, and we're both ready to take downtown to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you.
From a process standpoint, Mayor, I think the DSA will advertise, will have a public hearing. So basically, today's presentation presentation is just to affirm the introduced budget. So I'll entertain a motion and a second to affirm it, and then we'll adopt it.
I do have a question.
Well, let's do the motion and then
Well,
have your question.
no, legally, can we affirm it at this meeting, and then normally we can't introduce stuff, and then do it in the new year?
Yeah, it's a little different than that.
It's not an ordinance.
Unfortunately, the way the auditor would like us to follow is similar to a budget process, which is acceptable to do that.
It is acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, really, it comes down to the DSA board introducing and adopting their budget, but for the sake of following the municipal rules, because of the history, they want us to do that, but we can definitely do
It
that.
is okay, and it is the second meeting, that's
All right, motion for affirmation.
So moves.
Second?
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Kyle Mitchell,
Yes.
Tina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
yes.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our committee reports, and I'll start to my far right with Dr. Brady.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I really don't have much of a formal report tonight. We're wrapping up 2022. I would like to publicly thank the staff of the Department of Public Works. I think this has been an exceptionally good year for the borough. If you notice, the streets look good. They've got stripes, they've gotten, we're doing curb cuts. That, of course, is part of grants, which I think you'll mention in a few minutes. So generally speaking, I think town, I won't say it never looked better because I haven't been around since 1909, but I think since I've been in town, it looks really going good. And I really have to say that the staff of Public Works has done an exceptional job. They were a little short-handed, but they always came through for us, and I would hope that they have a joyous and blessed holiday. That's my report.
Councilwoman.
The Environmental Commission had a holiday social this month. They are in the planning phase for 2023. They will be applying for their Sustainable New Jersey status for the borough and working out the rest of their tree work. So planning stages and a good, robust, healthy committee. So thank you to all who served.
Councilman Lee.
Yeah, real quick, with recreation, Let Park Pool over on Park, the plans and specs have gone out to bid. They are due back January 5th. And that is it. That's, that's very important because that was damaged during the storm and we were able to get some grant money. We pay into an open space tax, not a hell of a lot of open space in Somerville. So we were able to work with the county to get some money from the county that normally would go to open space to fixing our pool there. And that's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, well, the Historic Advisory Committee is not having a regular meeting this month. They canceled it because of the holidays. And I want to wish everybody a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or Festivus for the rest.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burke.
Just a reminder for folks as we're traveling for the holidays to make sure that we are vigilant. This is the time of the year where we see lots of porch pirates and the like. So just make sure that your outside lights, you're maintaining those if you do travel. It's a good time to invest in timers for your lights. Wi-Fi switches are fantastic. Wi-Fi lights are fantastic. That way you can maintain a schedule in your house and it doesn't look any different. Because again, we want to make sure, not that we have a lot of that kind of situation in the borough, but just to be vigilant, make sure that we're looking after our neighbors this time of year. As the weather gets colder, a lot of folks stay inside, so just kind of keep an eye out on those around you. With that in mind, please don't leave any open flames unattended on or in your premises, because this is also the time where there's lots of calls that come around to put out fires in people's homes due to that kind of behavior. Also, if you've been waiting and turning on your heating and cooling heating systems now, it's always good to have folks come out, whether it's a boiler heat or a forced air, have someone come through and check out your system, make sure that the vents and such are clean. Those are all preventative things that can really make a big difference and keep you and your family safe. So as with the rest of my colleagues here, we hope that everyone has a happy and safe holiday, and we'll see you all in the new year.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick things. Councilman, we mentioned the county grant we received for the restoration on Park Avenue. That work will be done hopefully in the spring and have that pool ready for the beginning of summer of next year. We received another $299,000 from the state DOT. That money will go for pedestrian improvement, curb cuts, and handicapped access in the Main Street area. We'll have more information on the specific locations, but that, again, it's a positive example of money that we send to Trenton that's coming back to us. Over this past year, I think Mr. Sluka sent me a review of grants that we received, and I believe it's about $9 to $10 million this year. And that is, again, it's not free money, it's taxpayer money, some of which is ours. But it's still better than having us go to the property owners in town for the projects that that funding would cover. I'll have more to say on that in my remarks on the first of the year, but we've been very successful this past year, and a lot of the road projects that Dr. Brady mentioned were direct DOT funding, which we would have to borrow money on our own and pay back over a 15 to 20 year period. And it's not how much you borrow, it's how much you pay back. So with supplementing our local funds with grant funds, we're looking better and better each time. We received an award. I attended a reception the other night in South Orange. This is from the American Planning Association, New Jersey chapter. This is a 2022 Outstanding Implementation Award for the Somerville Station Area and Landfill Redevelopment Plan. Only one award is given out in the state in each category, and we were the recipient this year. And as you leave the meeting tonight, check the hallway as you come in and out. You'll see a number of awards. We have received the bookend award to this back in 2018. That was for the plan. And as I've said before, plans are nice, but plans sit on a shelf, gather dust, and that's all they do. This is actually the implementation award. This is the fact that we are building the project that we planned 5 years ago. And awards like this put the spotlight on Somerville. The development community looks at these awards. They want to invest in a town that's making progress. So I was very pleased to receive this. I want to thank the administration, Mr. Driver for his efforts, our planning division, members of the planning board as well. Very, very important award. And there are 550 municipalities in New Jersey, Kevin, I believe?
564.
564, right. And we are the one recipient this year. And hopefully we can continue to add to the awards on the wall when we move into our new facility. Hopefully we'll have an award wall. We can continue to add to that. I'm very pleased to do that. The last thing I have is the last magazine we got. The League of Municipalities puts out a magazine to elected officials each year. And on the back, we're going to be celebrating local government this spring from April 16th to the 20th. And one component of it is a photo contest. And the League of Municipalities is asking us to send photos of our municipality, showcase the beauty of our town, send photos of tourist attractions, downtown areas, economic development, parks, city halls, community groups, and new projects. I'm working with Kevin and with Patty Hunt, our communications director. We're going to have information on the website about how you can submit your photos. I'm in contact with the high school photography club as well to ask them to be involved. So probably sometime in early January, we'll start collecting photos, and we encourage you. Somerville's always looking good, but I think this time of year, hopefully we'll get a little white, not enough to plow, but enough to make it look, it look nice. If you have, events or things going on that you want to shoot and submit, I'm going to ask Mr. Pitts. He's got a very good eye for photography and fashion. I'm going to ask him to help me judge the submissions, and we'll send in up to 5 to the state, and they will choose one, and that winning photo will be on the cover of this magazine in April. So, Kevin, I believe Patty's working on the press release right now to get it out. So if you're if you're a photo fan and you want to show off, your house, you don't have to put your address, anything like that. It's all anonymous. But we want to get as many submissions as possible because we're proud of our town, and possibly we can show those submissions on the website as well. Even if they don't win, everyone that submitted is a winner as far as I'm concerned. Because if it's a photo of Somerville, it's going to be a winner. So we'll have more information on that, and we can talk in the early part of 2023 about what we might want to do for a municipal event. A couple of years ago, we had an open house. So we may want to talk about doing that, some other ideas that the council might have to showcase our municipality. We don't have to wait for a planning award. We can flood Trenton with good things about our town and make them give us an award. And that's all I have. 2 ordinances for hearing and adoption. First one is 2691. Amending ordinance 2688 to eliminate permit parking on the south side of 2nd Street. I need a motion for public hearing.
Vote.
Second?
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Before I open to the public, Kevin, just a quick summary of why we had to amend this.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There's only there's parking only on one side of the street. So when we did the original ordinance, we turned both sides of the street to permit parking. There's only one side for
So
parking.
we
So we're
inadvertently
correcting that.
added parking where we could not have the authority. All right, public hearing on this ordinance. Any questions, comments? Again, this will be permit parking on the south side of 2nd Street only. And I saw some residents in Borough Hall the other day inquiring about the permit, so.
But we're getting a little buzz on it. We're gonna have to, in the beginning of the year, I did push it back, the enforcement. We are probably gonna have to do a door-to-door drop-off on that. It hasn't been as aggressive as we were hoping.
Okay, let me know, I'll be glad to know.
Sure.
Hearing no other comment, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Public hearing is closed, now I need a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 2692, amending ordinance 2325, schedule of fees to include community emergency response team members. I need a motion for public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Public hearing, any comments, questions?
Jason Clasco, 106 Vanderveer Ave. I just want to thank you guys for putting this up and hopefully adopting. It's a small give back to those volunteers who go out and during emergencies, help with the fire department, police department, but also in all these major events that the DSA has and that the town has. They're the ones out there in the vests who go out and they're blocking streets, helping cross people during the bike races and all of that stuff. So while it's not a huge financial lift from the borough, it is a little something to give back to all the volunteers. So I just want to thank you guys for that.
Thank you for your comment. All right, hearing none, a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
All right. Now motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, we're at our open public session. I'll have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Open to the public.
I have a question.
Okay, name and address for the record, please.
159 Hamilton Street in Somerville.
And your name?
Catherine Moore.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
About 18 months ago, 2 years ago, we had a meeting with you at Borough Hall about affordable housing. And there was a question that you couldn't answer that you told us you would get back to us. I don't know that you've ever gotten back to us with an answer to that question. At the time, if I remember correctly, and I'm old, You said you really weren't sure, but you would find out. You had to talk to the legal department or something like that.
I remember the meeting, I don't remember the specific question, but we have, in the new year, I expect there'll be a lot of discussion about affordable housing here. As you might remember, we had an expert in the field give us a baseline presentation of current status in the state, and I would expect that we would be taking some action in conjunction with the planning board in the early part of next year.
Now, I've counted every single new development in the borough. And there was an issue, the last meeting I was at, because I moved to Texas for about 2 years. I didn't like it and I came back. That there was concern about the influx of kids on the school system. Well, if you just deal with that one down there on Fairview Avenue, there's 180 apartments in that complex. The one over here, off of South Bridge Street, I don't know how many units are in there. But if you're concerned about the influx of kids on the school system, why do you allow these developers to build such huge complexes? Secondly, the rent is so high, you need to make $85,000 to get one of those apartments. And there's no affordable, not one affordable apartment in any of those complexes. Not one.
If I could respond to your first question about the school population. I went to the school board budget hearing in April, and I specifically asked the question about increase in enrollment. And I believe Dr. Brady was with me. And it was told to us by the school administration that there were 2 school-age children coming from those projects. And the anticipated enrollment was pretty flat. So I haven't heard from the schools about a tremendous increase. I know the high school, the balance of the high school between Somerville and Branchburg students is changing because Branchburg students, there are fewer Branchburg students now than in the past. And I know that their first grade class in Branchburg is about the same as ours here in Vanderbilt. So within the next 7 years, when those kids hit high school, the high school should be pretty much 50-50. We have not seen any change in our school population from those projects. Now, I have to rely on the school board to give me the full facts, and I would suggest that you either call them or go to the next school board meeting and ask the same question that you just asked me: is there a school-age population increase because of those new developments? I don't believe there are, but I will let the school board speak for themselves.
Now, I have another issue with those developments. Now, you know where I live, on Hamilton Street.
Yes.
Those people bring their dogs and let them mess in my yard. Isn't there an ordinance to clean up behind your dog?
That's an ordinance townwide regardless of where you live, yes.
Well, there's a problem over there on Hamilton Street.
And then you think it's from the
They come from down Chambray Park. They walk up the street. Some of them come from Chambray Park, so they're coming from that way. And then the other ones are coming up 4th Street. There's 2 white ladies. One of them has a dog she can't control that looks like a Japanese water dog. The dog's huge. That lady can't control that dog. And then there's another lady that they look like they're coming from Bridge Street someplace. But they're coming up 4th Street.
Kevin, can we send a notice to management of all of our complexes about reminding them of the ordinance?
Sure, that's not a problem. We could probably arrange to assist us more on some additional signage over there as well to let people know that there's an awareness and certainly post a sign.
Are there any signs posted about,
I mean, I bought my own signs.
because we had put some up as a result of requests from.
I mean, they also let the dogs run all over Chambray Park too.
That's a patrol issue, so Kevin, Roger, you want to talk to the chief about that? But in terms of the apartments, yeah, we can outreach them and let them know. I don't know what requirements some of the apartments have. They may be pet restricted. I don't know
They're not.
each one. I know that the one by me has their own. They have a dog washing station, so I assume that they allow dogs. But that doesn't give them the freedom
All
to
they do
use
is
our
charge you a
neighborhoods.
fee for having an animal.
Hmm.
The animal tears up the apartment.
But we'll outreach to them and remind them of the ordinance, and we'll ask PD to, to be vigilant in their patrols, because it's just nasty, and it shouldn't happen anywhere. And any more questions from the board? Hearing none, motion to close?
So move.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, consent resolutions. Do we have any that council would like to be discussed individually?
I will say 376 and 381.
John set it up, so I can't get into it. I don't know what
371, canceling the 2022 current fund budget appropriations, it's the surplus. 372, approving Allison Gus as an hourly employee, $26 an hour, as a basketball gym supervisor. 373, Alex Cleveland, a name familiar to a lot of us, Christopher Vanos and Peter Ubenauer as scorekeepers at the rate of $17 an hour for recreation. 374, purchase of a steel gable shelter for our community park. 375, awarding a contract to Muller and Lonigan to help us with our Section 8 housing. Kevin, they've been with us, I don't know how many. Kevin Lonigan's been with us, 25 years plus?
Before my time.
Yeah.
Well, he was there when we were there.
I think so, that's an eon ago, yeah. 377, accepting a grant of $11,998 from the state of New Jersey recycling tonnage. 378, approving Chapter 159 recycling tonnage grant for 2022. 379, a refund of $400 to M&S Investments for an escrow account, 21 to 29 Davenport Street. 380, a refund of $3,345.50 for an escrow account. 382, a refund of $807.98 to Somerville Urban Renewal to close out a planning escrow. 383, and authorizing the administrator to advise the zoning board that the borough consents to the filing of an application by the owner of 131 West High Street. And I believe that's it. Motion for those.
So move.
Second.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
376, approving speed limit to 25 miles per hour along the entire length of Route 28 within the borough of Somerville. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
You had a question?
Yeah, so, question and comment. First of all, the mayor detailed this at the last meeting. It's just within the borough of Somerville because from Adamsville up until almost Rehill, that Union Avenue there is actually all of Bridgewater. So we can't really do much about that, and the mayor has said he's going to be reaching out to his Bridgewater counterpart to see if we can get it slowed down there, because there are some of those houses are in Somerville. The second thing is, this is probably 3-4 years in the making, I'd say. The wheels of government move slow, especially at the state level. And this was something that the mayor was very persistent on, very, adamant on, multiple letters. It took a while. Anyone who says they can do it quicker is lying to you, quite honestly. But the mayor was persistent. I just want to thank you, Mayor, for your persistence on this.
That's fine. Kevin, when those signs go up, let us know, because I definitely want to have some pictures taken, because it took us about 2 years to get the western half from Cornell to Meadow, and the eastern half is just as important, so.
I also think that it would have to be changed to Vanderveer because it's 25 when kids are present.
It'll be
Then
25,
it goes to like 40.
well, it'll be 25 consistently.
So the state would have to change that sign,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, we'll make them, well, that may take another 2 years.
I was gonna say, because it will say 40.
No, it can't be enforced
No,
until it's
I
signed.
usually try and see if I can get.
We'll make sure they provide the signs on their nickel. All right.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, 381, authorizing submission of a New Jersey Department of Community Affairs grant for approximately $100,000 to install an ADA inclusive playground with a rubberized surface at Walk Park. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Yes, this is very, very important. I had a friend of mine whose niece has cerebral palsy. And you don't think about it. You think, oh, who's going to go to the playground? Well, her niece has, a disability. And for them, in order to be able to go to a park like any other child there, means a heck of a lot. Because, we've come a long way over the years. This isn't just about scraped knees. It's about accessibility for all of the children in town. So, this is just very, very important. I just wanted to highlight that. That's why we are proceeding with this and why it is important.
All right, roll call.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Bills and vouchers.
Thank you. I move in the amount of $1,110.29 in the payment of bills and vouchers.
I'll second that.
It's a tough number.
Council members Granville Brady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic,
Yes.
Roger Vroom,
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
All right, before I call for an adjournment, to all of you in the audience and all of you watching at home, the best of the season. I've said it before that, Somerville is made of a lot of bricks. Each person in this town brings their own brick to whatever they're trying to build. So whether you're a Little League coach, or a pop water coach, or a parent, or a guardian, or a grandparent, or a borough volunteer, or a borough worker, we all contribute so much to making awards like this and just activities within the town, making this a great place to live, work, invest, and grow. From my office, from the council, from my family, I wish you all the best. If you're traveling, be safe. If you're at home, as Councilman Groom said before, be safe. Most accidents do happen at home, and we want you to not start up the new year in a cast or with a bandage on because of an accident at home. But again, to each of the 12,000 people out there, we built a great community over the year. We faced some challenges, but we're in a good spot right now, and I just wish each of you the best of everything. And to my counterparts here at the table, I want to thank you again for all of your work for the past year. The public sees the 2 hours that we spend here twice a month. They don't see the late nights, the missed meals, the countless emails. It's just it's a pleasure to serve, but it is work, and I appreciate the passion that you give to it. I would especially like to commend Councilman Mitchell to my far left, who is completing, believe it or not, his 19th consecutive year on the Borough Council. So well done, Tom. I can't wait to be with you again for year 20, at which point you will become eligible for the Elected Officials Hall of Fame. You do have to finish, next year, New Year's Eve. So there's a goal for you.
Well, I will do my best.
I'm looking at the wall up there, and I see 2004 when you first took office, and you've been a great servant. You've been a great partner, and I congratulate you on almost the Hall of Fame. So something to work for next year. But that will be my pleasure to hopefully make that award next year, and that'll give the Borough of Somerville 2 members. And I challenge any other town to match that record. So, from my office, from my family to each of yours, the best of the holiday season, at which point now I will ask for a move to adjourn.
Mayor, were you going back into executive or no?
Yes.
Okay, so this is,
This is to adjourn the regular.
Adjourn the regular meeting,
Move to adjourn to executive.
to adjourn to executive, and upon the ending of executive, there'll be no action taken, and the meeting will be adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Councilman,
I will second all of that.
oh, thank you, Fred. Sorry. Graham O'Grady,
Yes.
Tom Mitchell,
Yes.
Gina Stravic.
Yes.
Roger Vroom.
Yes.
Fred Weed.
Yes.
Regular session is adjourned. We'll take a 2-minute recess.